Live. What's going on? It's your boy Token Gamer. Welcome back. This is Blockchain Universe, another episode of Yummy NFTs. I believe this is episode 16. I got
Nice.
Danil Pan, the artist and creator of the art gallery Auction House. Let's give him some warm applause as well as hit those emojis. Show him some love. There you go. There you go. Welcome, Danil. Thanks for joining us, brother.
Hey, thanks for having me on.
So tell us, how did you venture into this NFT space? When and how did you get into this space, man?
When and how? That goes way back.
Oh, can I hear? I think he's choppy.
Sorry, I'm new at this. Yeah, so I got into NFTs in January 2019. That's when I first got involved with gaming NFTs, which was actually my first exposure to the whole space. Um, fell in love with kind of like what you could do with blockchain gaming, and that's kind of where I got my start with how I, got to know the talented individuals in the space. And
Awesome.
then it
Before you
wasn't
go forward, because
until
I know
Hmm?
there's a
Sure.
lot of people here that have probably never even heard of blockchain gaming.
Oh yeah,
So let's give them a little recap. What is blockchain gaming and why did it grab your attention in early 2019?
yeah. So I mean, really, at the time, like I was playing a lot of video games, right, as a
I
as a
can
hobby.
hear.
um, but there wasn't really a way to really own assets, right? And that's sort of where NFTs came into the picture, where you could actually buy, sell, and trade in-game items beyond what you can do within conventional gaming, so Web 2. Um, so, that really grabbed my attention as a way to gain value from the games that you play. Um, so it really just kind of spoke to me, right, in a way that made perfect sense.
Makes sense, right on. So then, we got into the space. You saw blockchain gaming. You thought this was cool. You can understand where you can utilize the potential of holding these assets for your games. If anybody's ever played stuff like Fortnite and got skins or got kids that wanted to buy skins, before, I mean, if you're playing on Fortnite, you don't own those skins. If Epic decides, yo, we're done with Fortnite tomorrow, all of the millions of dollars that kids spent on their skins is all gone. Whereas with these blockchain games, if I buy a skin in a blockchain game, I own that game. The creators of the game can kill the game. I still have the skin. Just like Pokemon cards, if you got Pokemon cards and Nintendo decides, yo, we're done with Pokemon, it's dead. You still got Pokemon cards though. You can still play Pokemon. So tell us a little bit how you got into the art scene instead of from the gaming scene.
Yeah, so that one was a little bit of a different tale, right? So I was into trying out all these different games and um, getting NFTs, collecting NFTs from all sorts of different blockchain games, um, mostly within Engine. And let's see, so I got familiarized with uh, crypto art around the time trash art was becoming sort of um, like a phenomenon, really, right? So artists like Rob Ness and Max Osiris, right, who are the kind of like the champions of trash art. I got really familiarized with that type of genre of artwork in April of 2020. And it was around that time actually where I wanted to create my own art. So I created the art gallery auction house, the Telegram auction channel, right? So that I could connect with other artists. And then shortly after that, I actually created my own artworks.
Nice. So what inspired you to create some of these skies for your artworks?
Um, really, all of these guys were sort of like a developing sort of like thesis on kind of what I like appreciate and what I kind of um, love about art, right? So very, very diverse and vibrant colors, shapes, form, poetry, and um, all sorts of those types of things. Just basically, I wanted something that not only was pretty but had some sort of depth to it, right? So um, a lot of these artworks have some sort of underlying story, some sort of message, or something that kind of expresses what I'm feeling, right? And they all kind of tackle like a little different story, but they all exist within like the same universe. So it's a little piece of the story, and they all kind of add up to one sort of, you know, um, one sort of like story, I guess, so to speak.
All right, all right. So I believe you just started doing skies recently, right?
So actually, no. Like the element of skies have existed in all of my artworks, but I recently launched a generative skies collection, and that is kind of, I think, what you're poking about, you know, skies, capital letters. Yeah, so that's sort of like what I wanted to do, as you know, in a different way from my one of one artworks or my multi editions, right? I wanted to create something that takes sort of like um, the elements of my artworks and make it into a generative project. So, you know, I compose all the different elements that create these skies, and then, you know, put them in a generator, thanks to the help
You're making
of
too much
Moonwalk,
noise.
and, you know, just create a whole bunch of different skies. But the ones that you see here, these are all one of one artworks, so they all have, you know, like a special story and, you know, poetry and
Excuse
stuff
me.
that kind of goes with them.
Nice. Can you tell us a bit about, I guess, how you created the art gallery auction house then?
Yeah, yeah. So that one's a fun story. So, like I said, I founded the art gallery auction house with a friend of mine. This was in April 2020. His name is Ryan Wine, and he's sort of like a one of the guys I got into blockchain gaming with, right? So, he had an engine platform. Um, that he was sort of wanting to create into like an art platform. Um, and he didn't have a group for it though, so it was kind of just an art platform without a way to connect with the artists, right? I needed a community of artists to kind of learn and sort of build my own art. So I created that auction house, partnered with Ryan Wine, and you know, ever since then we've been trying to help emerging artists, especially, find a community where they can, you know, learn from each other, buy and sell, and just have like a nice place where they can, um, you know, just find other people like them.
Right on, right on. Didn't even know you had a partner for it, but that's really cool. Hope to meet Ryan soon. If you're watching, come on and come join us in VR. So tell us about how you connected with Elisa, started doing virtual reality art events, and now we got a new one that we're collaborating on, the Art Gallery Auction House. All you guys should definitely come check it out. We'll be posting dates and all that information soon.
Oh.
How'd you get involved and connected with her?
Yeah, let's see. Man, when did Elisa come in? Elisa's a fireball. Um, I think it was one of the was it a charity event? Because I know Elisa and you came in at the same time. You guys both came into AGA, sort of like a, a partner deal type thing. And yeah, I mean, Elisa was really quick to want to, you know, support, you know, what we do at AGA, create an event. You know, that shortly after that we created, right, like an AGA slash alt space live auction event, and that was a lot of fun. So, I mean, Lisa really just took charge, and we just made AGA right like the venue, which is sort of akin to like the vision that I had, where, you know, AGA could be sort of like a gathering place, a hub, a venue for people to connect and to kind of, you know, do amazing things. Whereas I don't need to technically do it for people, right? They use AGA as sort of like the vessel to do what they need to do.
Right on, and it is a vessel. It is a useful vessel connecting so many different artists. If you guys are an artist and want to connect with other artists, definitely jump into the Art Gallery Auction House on Telegram. You know, I met so many amazing artists through there and seen so many wonderful pieces. Bid up on a lot of my friends' pieces that are auctioning on there. I know you guys do Ethereum. What are some of the other tokens you guys have utilized to auction in your group?
Yeah, so we actually initially, like I said, started with within the Engine ecosystem. So Engine is a blockchain gaming project. And so originally we wanted to create sort of an engine-oriented community for artists. So we use the ENJ token, which is the native token of their ecosystem. But what we found out is that people wanted, right, like various and diverse projects and currencies to use. So eventually we branched out to Ethereum, and then from there adopted. We've had Wax, we've had Tezos, we've had Near. So Aga has turned into a blockchain agnostic, sort of environment. So I think just to support as many different artists that exist on the different ecosystems, that sort of the vision, I think the ethos of Aga.
Right on, and it's an amazing vision. We talk about it a lot here, where it's just like there's so many different tokens that are out there. It's almost hard to keep up with. It's why you join Blockchain Universe, so you can be able to keep up with it together. But connecting with all of these different artists that could tell you about the different platforms and learn about all of the different chains that he was talking about, like Near is another good one. Tezos is another one that I see a lot of artists jumping on. Ethereum is great, and it was great when it first came out, but with the amount of volume and traffic on it now, it's increased the gas price to a point where I think somebody was telling me the other day that they were trying to buy something that was $80, but they had to pay a $400 gas fee. What sense
Right.
does that make if my gas fees are more than the art that I'm trying to buy? So, it's great to be able to utilize other tokens, and it's tough when you try to get people to onboard by getting them to try to come to your platform. But that means that they got to go through the whole process of learning how to go from Ethereum to like Near or to one of these other chains. Whereas if you could be able to just do an auction right in the chat and auction off that piece, it makes it so much more seamless and not really interoperable, which is the word that I love to use, because that's where you're really connecting like multiple chains on the same platform. But in a sense, it's an interoperable just because of the fact that there's so many different chains that people can utilize in this chat, connecting with these different artists to buy their art pieces. But I definitely think being blockchain agnostic is the way to go. Right on. It opens up the horizons to so many more artists and creators across all of the different platforms. I don't want to hog the mic, guys. It's great to have Danil Pan up here with all his wisdom. If you guys have any questions, feel free to I'm gonna hit the participation button, allow raising hands. You guys should see that little raise hand button now. If you guys want to ask Danil some questions, pick his brain, ask him what you want to know. I see Q Zone already jumped on it. Go ahead, you got the mic.
I want to ask, do you know about Vivi and Network?
Vivi and Netvert. No, I'm not familiar with that.
Well, I wanted to explain to y'all. Y'all know how Coinbase is? Coinbase is easy to buy cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
Well, Vivi is an app where you could buy NFTs. They got licensed to Marvel. A guy from Pokemon, he works with them. They're gonna drop Pokemon soon. They have um they have so many licenses to everything. I already have a bunch of NFTs. I have a couple of Batmans. So I'm telling everybody, y'all could check Vivi out. Vivi's easy. You could hook your your credit card up. They go by gems. They didn't convert the money yet. The money converter is coming in like 3 months. You know. So yeah, that's the biggest thing that right now that you could buy. You know, just wanted to let you know about NFTs. Yeah, cool.
Sure. It's
Do
pretty cool. Yeah, I've
appreciate
never
you
heard
for
of them.
shouting out VV. Oh, they're running on the Omi. I think Omi has
Yeah,
their own blockchain, but
yeah,
yeah,
Omi.
I've seen it. I was talking to Rosa about it earlier before we went live. They're a AR focused platform where you could be able
Yeah,
to, like you said, put up NFTs, but you can also be able to put those NFTs into like a augmented reality art gallery. So we're right now in a virtual reality art gallery that's being hosted by Altspace. They built the platform. I built the world and put all of his art pieces on the walls in here. And what I like about this platform is the fact that it's sociable. You know, we all can
Yeah.
communicate and talk to each other. I think Vivi is really cool because of the fact that you could be able to put all of the art basically in your room, not just in a virtual world where now there's other people in my house watching me with this headset on, laughing like, why is this guy leaving the room to go somewhere else? As opposed to with your phone, you could be able to put all of the art around the room with you and like show people like, yo, look at this art and whatnot that are with you in the real world. But you know, not everybody has people with them in the real world that they can show that art to. So it'd be great if they enable social features where I can go to your art gallery and go talk to you, have you explain to me what's going on in these art pieces and show my friends, bring them with me like I can bring all of you with me to the next event. I would love to be able to bring people with me to the next AR art gallery across the VV-verse. But
Yeah.
so far they're not doing that. So until they do,
Nah.
I'll keep an eye out. But
I understand. Definitely. I understand.
you
Only reason I
know,
got
this
into
is
them
this
because they
is
was
the
backed by main big companies.
yeah, they definitely are pushing the mainstream adoption, which is still interesting because then you still got people like Danil here who are big in the space but still haven't heard
That's
of
why
them.
I joined.
And
Yeah, and I wanna meet people. I wanna, get on this platform and just, flourish and see everybody
that's
collect art, buy art. You know.
that's the way to go, brother. That's how you got to do. I definitely recommend checking out the Art Gallery Auction House. You can join the Telegram, talk to Daniil and the rest of his community. There's a lot of people in that space, you know, learning, observing, and growing in this space as more and more people are trying to understand what's new with this technology and how they can utilize it for its potential. I got more people that are trying to ask questions, so I'm gonna take you off the mic. I do appreciate you for throwing that out there. Let's go ahead and bring up our on the mic up for Clever Brian. You got the mic, buddy.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Bring up our on the mic up for Clever Brian. You got the mic, buddy.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Well, I hopped on a little late, but I wanted um, to see as an artist where I could go to for more information of learning how to create NFTs. And yeah, I've seen that Ethereum has this huge wall where these gas fees have gone astronomically high.
What's up, buddy?
To the point where it's kind of
It's fun.
discouraging
Fun
for
to
people to
listen
even
to
want to
Spectrum.
support
Yeah,
NFT
cool.
projects
It would be.
because of those gas fees. So I'm wondering and post them in areas where it's easier for people to obtain them.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's a really good question. I think there's a lot of competition at the moment for just within the Ethereum ecosystem alone. And what's kind of nice is that, right, the insane gas costs or whatever, it discourages a lot of people from trying, but it also has encouraged a whole bunch of platforms to try and take, sort of like a, a part of the spotlight. So, for instance, with Tezos, um, at the time it was Hick at Nunk, but it's now I think been down. So now it's a object. But you can create on the Tezos blockchain for pennies. You can also create on Near protocol. They have their own NFT minting sites and stuff like that. Different platforms that you can experiment with. I've had friends who made art on wax, and have done fairly well on that as well. So there are definitely options there. If Ethereum is really not viable or feasible for you. But yeah, I mean, here's hoping that layer two will be sort of like the solution to that. But we've been waiting for ETH2 and scaling solutions to really pick up for a while now. So I would definitely recommend going with either Near, Tezos, Wax, or something like that to keep your overhead low.
Okay.
Great
Appreciate that. Thank you.
recommendation
Yeah.
for sure. All right. I appreciate you asking that question. We got more questions. Let's get to it. Gian Paul, you're up. Gian Paul.
I'll actually pass on the question.
All right.
Sure.
And then we got Rosa. Rosa, you're
Yeah,
on
my
air.
okay. Yeah, my question was, well, he answered it because they were talking about the gas fees, and I heard something about ETH2 is supposed to make it better. The gas fees a little lower with ETH2. Do y'all know when that's supposed to be coming out? Or
That's like a running joke in the space right now, man. I've
Yeah.
seen memes of like old versions of Vitalik Buterin. If anybody knows who that is, he's the young guy that created Ethereum back in like 2016. They've been talking about ETH 2.0. I want to say I first heard about it in maybe early 2019. It's now late
wow, that's a long
2021 for
time.
anybody that might be watching this live stream, years in the future. And years in the future, you might still be going, oh, they're going to be coming out with that any day now. Any day now, ETH 2.0 is supposed to roll out. When exactly, nobody knows. I will
But
say there is progress on it. We started the first block for like the Genesis block for ETH 2.0, but when it goes into full proof of damn, why am I drawing a blank right now?
Concept.
Proof of stake.
No.
Or-
Proof of stake. That's what I was looking
Proof of
for.
stake, yeah.
When we actually switch over to proof of stake, that could be any day. I don't think it's going to happen any date soon. Maybe sometime in 2022. Knowing them, they're going to delay it again, and it'll be sometime in 2023. But what's the big difference? Why is that the talking point, right? Everybody here is probably aware of Bitcoin and may have heard of Bitcoin's consensus algorithm, which is called proof of work. For every time we do a transaction on Bitcoin, computers out there are validating the transaction, which takes up energy and is processing that information, adding it to the blockchain. All of these transactions are added to a block. Those blocks are chained together. In order to add a new block, you have to verify all of the previous blocks, which takes a lot of energy, so on and so forth. It's this ridiculous cycle. With that, people have been saying, yo, this is not energy efficient. It's going to kill the planet, blah, 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 blah. There needs to be a better way. So some people came up with a different consensus algorithm. I like to dumb it down for people that are not so technical because it could get really confusing, even for my technical behind. I like to think of it just basically like pinning a paper up on the wall and saying, yo, if you want to do transactions, do your transactions on my piece of paper. Anybody that goes through my piece of paper, I get a cut of the fee, and the rest of it goes towards the network. Pretty much that's it. And you could just have this ever-ending list where everybody can see all the transactions that are on my piece of paper. Danil wants to put his own piece of paper, basically staking his cryptocurrency, in this example, Ethereum, to the platform. People could then be able to utilize his, some people like to think of it like a highway, if you will. And as you ride the highway, you pay tolls that go towards both the person that put up that highway as well as the entire network as a whole. Hope that helped break it down. How does that basically help with the scale, the staking factor, bringing down the price for gas fees? Right now gas fees are so high because of the amount of people that are utilizing it on a proof of work mechanism. But when we switch to a proof of stake mechanism, less energy, less consumption, less a lot of things, blah, blah, blah. It basically brings it down to a point where hopefully the gas fees aren't going to be as drastic as they are today. Does that mean that gas fees are going to go from $400 to less than a penny? I really doubt it.
what
What do you
about the
think, Neil?
Polygon? What about the Polygon? What about that network?
It's a side
Ethereum
chain.
based. It's Ethereum based, yeah.
I'll explain that in a second, but I want to hear Danil's input on ETH 2.0 before I continue on Polygon.
I mean, I feel like you're the most qualified person to talk about it here, Rome. I'm definitely
appreciate
not.
that, brother.
Yeah, I'm definitely not like a technical person. I just like to get into projects that I enjoy and make art and stuff like that. I have my friends like Rome to do the the technical work.
I'm here for that. I guess to answer her question then in regards to Polygon, and Polygon is a side chain. For anybody that doesn't know what a side chain is, It's basically like saying, hey, we can use the underlying security and verification for transactions, still utilizing the proof of work system on Ethereum, but you don't have to do one transaction and have each of those transactions on the blockchain every single time. What you could do is a second layer where we'll group maybe 1 million transactions together, and then those transactions would be one layer on top of the Ethereum first layer. So it's just adding a second layer for scalability, allowing you to do a bunch of transactions a lot faster. All of those close together as one transaction on the Ethereum blockchain. So, like you said, it's still Ethereum. You're still running on the ETH blockchain. It's just a side chain to it, which allows it to be cheaper because of the fact that you're going through all of this rigmarole. It's not exactly like easy to get into it. Like, it took me a while, and I'm technically inclined to make my MetaMask go from an ETH 1.0 or from a regular Ethereum wallet to then a ETH sidechain wallet to be able to accept Matic and do those type of chains and NFTs. And oh, there's so much going on in that space, and they're not the only ones that are doing side chains. Binance Smart Chain is a sign chain to Binance BNB token. I could go down the list of different side chains I've heard of that are running on ETH or some EVM, which is Ethereum Virtual Machine. Just basically a bunch of tech jargon for, hey, you're allowed to be able to connect with Ethereum by creating your own thing and doing your transactions on Ethereum. You can have your group of transactions and as one transaction on Ethereum. Not as secure, not as what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. I lost my train of thought in regards to that. But it's really technical jargon for, hey, here's another way to do transactions, but it's not the same, but almost the same. Hope that helped.
Yeah, it's a lot. Okay.
Right? This whole space is a lot. There's no easy way to summarize everything in this space, but I do the best that I can. All right. Do we have any other questions? Thank you so much for that, Rosa. I don't see any more questions on the list, so I'd love to end with telling us what's next, Danil. What you got going next, man? What are you getting into? What do you see in the near future for 2022?
Let's see. So I just got done with this collection here, right? So it's 15 pieces that I released for this year. I'm doing 15 more, and that will complete this collection that I'm calling Awakening. So that's going to be coming in early next year.
Nice. And I guess give me some predictions for where you see the NFT space in 2022, man. I mean, I'll give an example of what I'm looking for. In 2020, I went to NFT NYC in New York. We had one building, one facility with like 500 people. I went to NFT NYC a couple months ago in November, yeah, like last month. Just went to NFT NYC. We now had 5 facilities with over 30,000 people in just 18 months. Where do you see us in 2022, brother?
Yeah, I mean, I do feel like this is going to get to a point where it's just going to get bigger. When you look at the total amount of active wallets within NFTs, it's still such a small number, right? Especially in regards to other industries, right? Like gaming and art and finance and stuff like that. We represent a very, very small part of the population. So I just see that number escalating even more. To be, I think, a bit more specific about what NFTs might look like in 2022, I do think there is going to be sort of like I mean, even currently, there's a bit of like turmoil in the market, right? It's very rough right now. Artists are finding it extremely difficult to sell their NFTs. Instead, you're seeing huge players enter the market. Adidas being a big one that just entered, right? Then we see brands like Pepsi as well hopping in and doing their mic drop
I
NFTs.
just
So
found out
I
about
think we're gonna see.
Coca-Cola.
Yeah. So, we're going to see a lot of that, I think. hoping is that we'll start to see like less of that type of stuff, like more corporate entities entering the space, and sort of like a return to the individual artists and content creators, which is what the space was founded on.
Right on, right on. All right, we got 3 questions. Yeah, I'll let you slide. We got Shoaladar. I don't know how to pronounce that. Gonna go up first, then Holy Blood, and I'm ending with Clever Brian's second question. You are live. Go ahead, Shoaladar.
Yeah, this is more of a proof of concept question in regards to some of the things that are happening in the NFT market in the future for the coming year. Specifically, I'm just curious about the coming up projects like with Sandbox, as well as with what Meta is going to be doing. I'm just curious about the coming up projects like with Sandbox, as well as with what Meta is going to be doing. And my question is that are you familiar with? Okay, I'm curious as to whether or not those projects and the NFT proposals in those projects are going to be universal or limited to those platforms. Do you know that? Like for instance, obviously they want content creators to come in and create NFTs in Sandbox, for example, and their whole thing is portability. I haven't been able to find anything anywhere as to whether or not those NFTs are going to be portable to other platforms, because that would obviously greatly increase the value of those NFTs if they're not limited to one universe in VR world. So, do you know anything about that?
Yeah, so actually, a long time ago, I used to be a Sandbox ambassador, which is sort of like a I don't want to say an official title, right? I wasn't working with them in any insanely official capacity, but that was like interoperability between the metaverses was something that was critical to Sandbox, and I don't believe that has changed. I believe there was talks that there were portals within Sandbox that could actually lead to other metaverses, and I would imagine the NFTs, the assets themselves, would also have those capabilities to go between.
But they're not universal. They'd be limited to within certain areas of the metaverse, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, I do think there is that element of there has to be like a manual
Areas
input, right?
of the
Like you can.
metaverse, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, I do think there is that element of there has to be like a manual into like Somnium or crypto voxels, right? Without some sort of recognition between the two. But I think having the metaverses communicate, right? That is the first step. And I think eventually it'll get to that point where
so it's sort of that they're
hopefully
at the entry level of trying to coordinate and build that, and that's kind of what I guess Sandbox wants to get to at some point. Because obviously, with NFTs and things like that, the portability is going to increase value. But I haven't been able to find anything in their white pages which actually says that that's already built in. It's more like a hope, So sounds like what you're saying is that they're trying to work that out, but they don't know how they're going to make it work. Is that what you're saying? The other question in regards to specifically now the Sandbox, is that going to be graphic limited, keeping a lower level of graphics based on the graphics of that metaverse to match? Or are they going to allow selling high res type of NFTs?
Oh, that's a good
Great
question. And I
question.
actually don't know the answer to that. Rome, do you happen to know that?
No, that's why I was like, great question. I couldn't.
Because obviously, if you can only get an 8-bit design through Sandbox, that's not going to appeal to people who want a realistic.
I agree with you. I would say the answer is no because of
the
optimization.
world that's being built in.
Right. Exactly. The fact that Sandbox is trying to optimize in the way that they are on the polygon count that they're utilizing, I don't see them allowing anything that exceeds their current platform. Whereas like Altspace is also optimized. We're in a platform that's optimized for the characters that we're looking at. It's not as low quality as Sandbox is, it's at a higher echelon, but I would still say that like other than putting in like a picture in here, you're not going to be able to put in much assets that are at a higher polygon count than Altspace will allow for. Whereas you can go to like VR chat where it's like limitless and like you could do whatever you want. However, if you don't have the resources to do that, you're going to be crashing headsets left and right.
Exactly. So that's I mean we're still tech limited, hardware limited, and that's what I'm trying to get at, because I mean obviously for somebody like myself, I want realism in everything. We're not there yet because of limitations of the gear, but eventually we will get there. And I was just wondering if a lot of these projects are just basing their programs on their current gear limitations, or whether they're building towards
Absolutely.
something bigger. And because I think
I
if things
do
are
not
built
see
towards
enough.
something bigger, they're going to be the ones that take off in the NFT markets, I would think. So I was just curious.
I
So I
will say,
appreciate your input. Yeah.
I will say that there are not enough projects that are building towards where the future of the space is going. Everybody's
Yeah.
building towards the now, like you're saying. There's a few
Mhm.
projects I'll recommend, like Illuvium is building
Mhm.
their game on
Yep.
a AAA Unreal Engine 5 infrastructure, but that's still, built on today's standards and not geared towards so much of the future. And it's limiting yourself to the due to the amount of resources that takes for typical user. They're not going to have those resources unless you're specifically targeting gamers. Whereas
Right.
I would say the future is all in the cloud. Books went to the cloud, movies went to the cloud, music went to the cloud. Now games are going to the cloud. If you look at the Google Stadias, PlayStation Now, Xbox on Project, whatever, all of these
Yeah.
different, platforms are putting the games directly in the cloud and streaming it. There's even now a platform for VR headsets called damn, it slipped my mind. Can't remember the name of it, but there's a project that will let you stream from a virtual machine straight to your headset in VR. You just got to download the app on your Quest, and you could then be able to stream like Half-Life Alex over the internet directly to your headset without having a heavy duty computer in your household. So it's like, if
Okay.
we're able to do that, what are we going to be able to do with the NFT community once the NFT community then integrates with cloud computing?
Mhm. Yeah. Okay. Well, I appreciate your input. Thank you.
That's the answer. All right. So, our last question, second question from Clever Brian. You got the mic.
Oh yeah. Well, I think when we were originally talking about was the big players where this is all going right, and we have a lot of big corporations that are starting to enter the NFT market, like Adidas, Pepsi, Coca-Cola, and I'm wondering if this is just going to be something where it's going to get oversaturated with big corporations. It's going to drown out like small individual artist projects, and then once it kind of gets really big and corporate, eventually it's gonna allow the small artists again to kind of start coming back up. Um, sorry, that was more like I guess a train of thought, but I guess
Yeah.
another question would be the crypto gaming um, crypto gaming future is like you're saying, it's going to be a lot of cloud based, a lot of MMO games that are play to earn, and yeah, I forgot. There's so much going on in my head right now. There's like there's so many projects. I've been wanting to get really into
Mhm.
NFTs, and then I'm seeing crypto gaming and just the potential that that has for a lot of creators, um, and for investors alike, But anyway, I forgot. Anyway, thank you
No,
for
I
doing this.
mean, glad to be here and to provide. I want to add on to that. You're right. The cycles are there. Bitcoin goes through every 4 years. We have a cycle called the Bitcoin halving, as they cut the amount of rewards by in half every 4 years on the blockchain on the Bitcoin blockchain. I feel like with NFTs, we're going through this cycle where it's like a huge community of new onboarded artists get into the space, and then as they kind of integrate and assimilate with the community, and you'll have that like period where there's like a drought of new artists, and then there's that fluctuation of like bigger names in the space that jump in, like we just talked about Adidas and Coca-Cola are jumping in the space. Like right now, I feel like we're at that period again where we're at a lower point of the amount of artists that are getting into the space. But bet you, next year, right at the beginning of the year, we're gonna go through that next cycle where it's like a whole new wave of brand new artists that are just finding out about NFTs are gonna jump in. And a lot of people when they hear NFTs, they just immediately think of art like what you see on the wall. But I would even beg to differ that like I've met like a handful of NFT musicians at NFT NYC in 2020. NFT NYC 2021, yo, I met at least 100 different NFT musicians. I've been all over Twitter Spaces and Clubhouse over the last couple of weeks. The amount of NFT musicians jumping into the space is ridiculous. I definitely think that we're going to see a fluctuation of gamers once we find that right game that brings in the gaming market. Right now, a lot of people immediately talk about Axie Infinity. Axie Infinity is great and all, but it's really great for people that live in like Thailand. Cool. I can make it easy $200 a week playing that game. That's great for some people. For some people, that's way too much effort and time for me to put in to only earn $200 a week. But in Thailand, that's enough for like an entire, month's salary. And for some people, where it's like, yo, the amount of effort I would have put in to make 200 US dollars, I could do that in a week. What? And it changes the game from playing something like a play to earn game, just playing around and doing these things. So, like you said, MMOs, I definitely think that's the wave. Once we get the right MMO, cough, cough, Illuvium, to come out and really drop something that has AAA level graphics and a large enough community and play to earn mechanics where people can earn from, mining or doing things within the game. A lot of people grind already. If you play Destiny 2, you want to grind to get the best gun and do all this, that, and the third. Imagine doing that, but when you get that best gun, that gun is literally worth $1,000, $2,000. So all that grinding that you put in over 20, 30 hours
Pays
that's
off.
what I would do in a paycheck. I could literally sell that gun for what would be my paycheck's worth.
I was thinking of like Ready Player One when they would when they would win these these items like the gauntlet, right? The gauntlet that they use at the very end of the movie, or certain items that are very rare that if you win in these games, and I mean these are actual like things that are NFTs, you own them and you could sell them, to the person that wants them the most. And it's just like it allows for this huge universe where you could yeah, man, like you could create NFTs, and then within the game people can earn them, find them, they can grind, and then they can sell them to somebody else. And I think that's going to be a really cool aspect that's going to take crypto gaming to insane levels. Like it's going to beat the current gaming market that we've seen today.
Yeah, man, I agree with you. I'm sure Danil agrees with you. He started on the engine platform, chain gaming right from the jump. That's one of the things that got my attention in the NFT space. And any input, Danil?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think it's just a matter of time, right? We've been waiting for um, sort of like uh, the gaming market to really uh, come into crypto, right? And I think what went right with Axie Infinity is kind of like what Jerome was saying, is that it was able to provide um, a substantial value at like a salary level for developing nations. And I think that's something we're going to see, sweeping across Southeast Asia, in crossover into countries like Africa as well. And I think that will bring much needed exposure to it in general. But for it to really hit, I think the developed world, right? We're going to need like what Jerome was saying, triple A type things, and we're seeing gaming companies kind of dip their toes in a bit hesitantly. Um, but we have yet to really get that game that just grasps everyone's attention, and has the NFTs and the value circulating within to actually make it big. Um, but I really think it will happen. Maybe not next year, but in due time, I think that time will come, and we're going to see people investing a lot of time, a lot of money into playing these blockchain games. And I think that's going to be great, right? Because we can start to
I
see
agree.
value circulating where, gamers are buying and trading these in-game items. And I've seen a lot of people who from the blockchain gaming world, right, they end up collecting other NFTs, which, happens to be other content creators, artists, and things like that. So we're going to see people who just start to kind of merge their worlds, right? Because NFTs are so broad, expansive. So we're going to see, gamers supporting artists and supporting, um, you know, like like software developer type people who create generative art and stuff like that. I think it's all going to build each other up. It's just we're just waiting, right, for the one game.
Right on. Preach. Yes, man. Let that one game come that brings through the developed nation, like he said. Like we were talking earlier, the things move in its cycles, and like he said, there's going to be the big names that get into space. We recently had one with
Rings rule
Ubisoft,
them
which is a
all.
big game platform. If you guys have ever heard of like Assassin's Creed, Tom Clancy, a lot of those games, they just dropped an NFT for
Right.
their recent game Breakpoint. But same thing with like all of these, big names that get in the space when you got like the Lindsay Lohan made an NFT last year or earlier this year, and so many other people that get into this space and make an NFT. It sells for a lot of money up front, but then when that person that bought it tries to turn around and resell it, it cannot top where it
Yeah.
was at. It always sells for a lot less. So be very wary of these big names that get into space. This space was made for the average person like you and me to be able to grow and blossom and connect with all of the right people. It was not made for the Amazons and the Walmarts of the world to come in here and make NFTs and make
Right.
bank off of all of us. So I think that this is a real power struggle that we're going to see, and there are going to be people in the middle that get hurt in the middle of it. But come to these events, come join the community, both Blockchain Universe, the Art Gallery Auction House, learn, build, play, and just connect with the right like-minded individuals that are going to be making a lot of amazing moves in this space. I appreciate all
Yep.
of you for being here and sitting throughout this entire conversation. I appreciate you the most for being up here on the stage, guys. Let's give him a round of emojis. Show some love for my boy Danil. Go ahead and
Thank you.
join his group chat. We all love you, man. I'm sure everybody that's in the group chat's gonna be watching this and letting you know how of amazing job you did. Guys, it's always a pleasure to see you here in Alt Space. If you're watching the live stream, I hope you come and join us in Alt Space in the next one. We're here every Tuesday night at 8:30 Eastern Time, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, as well as throughout the week around 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. We got Crypto Mondays, video games from Wednesday through Friday, and sometimes on the weekend we host some events. This past weekend, I had a new metaverse come in, Utopia VR. Check out the YouTube video on my channel. They were talking to us about their metaverse. We had some artists come in for a weekend edition of Yummy NFTs. We got some people that are part of the Anomaly event that we're going to be announcing more soon that are not on the Eastern time zone or in the United States. So gonna have to do some more Yummy NFTs on the weekends to make some space for them. And I hope you guys come check it out. If you're in the world, make sure you guys hit the You Are Here button. Click on Blockchain Universe in blue. You can see all of our upcoming events. Also, click that rate button and show us some love. I want to get everybody that's here to come jump up on the stage. I want to take some selfies. You still got some time, Daniil. We could walk around the room and break it
Yeah.
down some of the inspiration behind each of these NFTs that we're looking at, and we're gonna call it a day for the stream. Love you all. We are out. Any last words, Denise? Or Daniil? Where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at pan_Danil. That's probably the best place to reach me if you have any questions or need some help and want to connect or anything like that.
Fire. This guy's amazing. Come on up. Let's take this group picture and say goodbye to the stream. Jump up here, you guys. Jump on up.
Let's go.
There you go. Q-Zone had no hesitation. Come on up here, Sempi. You're more than welcome to
Yeah,
join us up on
Sempi,
the
Sempi,
stage.
let's
Show
go.
some love. Guys, you're watching the Blockchain Universe community. Come join it. Come be a part of it. You should be up here with us. All right, let me
That's
take some
excellent.
selfies. Till next time, y'all. Peace.